Good morning, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving, USA. It's national holiday today. How are you guys doing? Five of you watching here. Where are you watching from? If you're from the United States, nine of you watching. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm happy to have you guys on right here. Today we're going to be talking about Niger State, Nigeria, but we're going to be focusing more from an investment angle for diasporas, or maybe even people local to Nigeria. There, this one is going to be for you. Hopefully, at the end of this session, you'll be able to have some real-time information to be able to make some decisions on your investment activities back in Nigeria. As you guys know, Niger State is back in the news again. It's reported yesterday that they abducted 20 something farmers or so. The armed militants went in, they ravaged the village. Apparently, there was somebody with a cell phone that had their hand chopped off over a cell phone, a common cell phone. So it's a very, very volatile uh, state. Um, when we talk about sectors like emerging sectors in the world, we have AI, we have agriculture, you have manufacturing sector, construction, real estate. There's also a sector out there, guys, particularly in Nigeria, that is not often talked about or often highlighted, and that is the crime sector. That is the crime economy. That sector exists, but let's go ahead and keep this though specific to Niger State, and also talk about your investments, our investments for those who are abroad looking at investing back home. When you have a situation where a state is bordering, I wouldn't necessarily call it a lost state, but it's getting there. It's getting there if this isn't control. Niger State actually tops the list in Nigeria. So when a state is in that state, right, you're going to have situations where maybe people are out there trying to pitch you cheap land. We have this land in Niger State, and this goes for those of you who don't really travel home as much as I do. You tend to follow more of maybe your family members or people online are out there pitching lands in Niger State for cheap. It's something that you should probably not do, because the state right now is under a lot of pressure in terms of the crime sector, in terms of the crime economy. Crime is rising in Niger State, and I'm going to get to what I feel is the reason why. I'm not a security analyst, but just based on my experience, having worked in that space, I was in the U.S. Army for 3 years. I was around intelligence. I can tell you what I feel is actually contributing to this problem. So lands may be cheap in Niger State, and they are, but they are also very, very risky. That is a risky investment. Does Niger State have arable land? Is agriculture a huge potential in Niger State? Obviously, it is, but what really kills innovation and agriculture is insecurity. And there's a lot of that right now uh, going on in Niger State. That's why you see it always in the news. It's like you wake up and it's just another Monday or it's just another Tuesday in Niger State, where farmers are being picked up. I don't want to use the K word, but farmers are being picked up for harvesting and cultivating their lands. People are sleeping with one eye open. That's if they even sleep at all. The residents of Niger State remain unprotected. Um, the land space, the land mass is just too massive. And I'm going to give you a comparison for those in the United States on what the size of the land mass of Niger State is and comparable states in the US. For those in the US, I'm going to give you that side by side comparison. Anytime you have insecurity like that, you may as well go ahead and just cancel logistics. You can't get anywhere. You are not going to be able to find logistics companies that are going to be that will be willing to drive through Niger State or even do business in Niger State. So even if you are able to buy cheap land, which I'm going to advise you to just not do, how are you going to construct that land? How are you going to develop that property? Farmland right now, I'm pretty sure people in Niger State are giving them away for free. Practically. Just go ahead and take it. Just give us something. If you purchase that farmland today, who is going to cultivate that land for you? Most people are not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be willing to do that just through sheer insecurity in that state. Security guarantees. Think about it for a second. Insurance companies don't want anything to do with projects and properties and investments in Niger State. Who is going to insure your property? You see, all of this is a ripple effect. It's like a domino effect. You hit one, it takes everything else down. So it's not just about, and that's why I'm saying, like, the crime sector just doesn't affect the communities. Yes, granted, people are being killed, communities are being destroyed, but it affects investments as a whole. And that causes the decay slowly, slowly, slowly. It's like just watching something rot and rot and rot away. That is the current state of Niger State right now. So if you want to go and throw investment dollars in an area like that, hedging and hoping that it's going to improve in the future, my question for you is, are you willing to wait another 20 years? You see, it's one thing to be a bold and risky investor, an investor that takes risks. But some investments are just not worth the risk. There are other places where you can park your money. Niger State is not one of those places. You are not going to recoup your investment in a place like that. Think about it. The government has been trying to stabilize Niger State for years, if not decades. It's a really, really major problem for that. So overall, Rich, so what are you talking about, Rich? Are you saying that I should not invest? Are you saying that I should just go ahead and just not even consider Niger State? And to be quite honest with you, my answer to you is yes. For now, until we see some level of improvement in that state, which is going to take, in all honesty, in my own personal opinion, I feel like a state like Niger State needs to be broken down into multiple states. Why? Because it's just too big. You are looking at 76,000, nearing 77,000 square kilometers. That is the land size. That's the land mass of Niger State. Right now, it's the number one state it's the largest state in Nigeria. The poorest. So if you've lived in Lagos, I mean, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, grew up in Lagos, Ikatesturulere. We know how big Lagos State is. When you walk into Lagos, just the majesty of Lagos State alone, the size. I won't really say we have a lot of skyscrapers, but when you look at the technology that's happening in Lagos, I'm getting somewhere with this, but I just wanted to give you a slight little hint. I want to paint a little image for you. If you've been to Lagos and you were born in Lagos like me, or those who have traveled to Lagos, I'm not talking about Lagos Island. I'm talking about Lagos State with a population of 22 million people right now. It's a huge state. When you just look at the majesty of it, it's a huge state. But it's only 3,400 square kilometers big. It's one of the smallest states in Nigeria, Lagos State. Take Lagos State on the left, Hold Lagos State on the left, on your left hand, Niger State on the right. You can fit 22 Lagos states inside of Niger State. That is how big Niger State is in terms of land mass. 22 Lagos states can fit comfortably with room. Does Nigeria have the resources to be able to patrol and contain a state like that? Why do you think it's one of the most volatile states in the country? It is too big. And it must, this is not a conversation. This is a declaration. Niger State, if we want to control what is happening in Niger State, I'm just giving an assessment. I'm not trying to be a security analyst or a security advisor here. Niger State has to be broken up. It's just too big. It's just too massive. So let me show you as far as like the landmass comparison goes for those in the US. So at 76,363 kilometers square kilometers, the closest US state to Niger State is Maine in the eastern United States. How's it going? Florida. Welcome on. That is how big Niger State is. It's the size of Maine. You can put 22 Lagos states inside Niger State. You see, guys, when they are talking about insecurity in Nigeria, they always tend to give you surface level issues. Oh, kidnappers, oh, I don't want to say the key word, but they went in and then they snatched 300 school children. They went into a village and they destroyed the village. And I've always told you guys, do you know how long it takes to destroy a village? I mean, these guys are going in there. These armed militants are going in there. They are tearing down villages. They are sitting down, smoking a cigarette, having a beer, even sometimes eating dinner. The security forces are nowhere to be found, but you're never ever going to hear. And I'm not trying to politicize this. This is more from an investment. I'm trying to tell you where you can go and park your investment. You want your investments to be as close to security apparatus as possible. These states, what do they have in common? One of the key things they have in common is not so much the crime that they have in common. The major thing that's driving this crime sector and the crime economy in these volatile areas is the sheer land mass. You are never ever going to hear that in Nigerian media because maybe they don't value the intelligence of their audience. Maybe they are not computing that an average Nigerian understands what a 76,000 square kilometer size is. Maybe they don't factor that in. You see, that to me is called disrespecting the audience. But I feel like they need to start doing a better job of analyzing and breaking down why the root cause of what is happening. Guys, believe it from me. The root cause is not lack of jobs or lack of opportunity. I'm talking about when these militants and why they are able to go into these communities and drive away your investments. The root cause is just the sheer size of the land that they are operating on. For those who have been to California, it will take you 6 hours. Picture this, if you've been in Cali, it will take you anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to drive from the border of San Ysidro in San Diego all the way to Silicon Valley, San Francisco. That is a good 6 hour, 7 hour road trip. and you are traveling at 75, 80 miles per hour, it will take you 8 hours to drive. Imagine 22 of those. You see, that is why these armed militants, you see, they're able to capitalize on that isolation. I'm talking specific now to Niger State. In another podcast, we are going to get to the Borno State and all that. I'm trying to break this down for you. So if you are looking at investing in Niger State right now, someone is trying to sell you 1 hectare of land in Niger State for 100,000 naira. Don't even at 100,000. I'm telling you, don't take on that deal because that 100,000 is going to turn to 10,000 naira, and then before you know what's happening, that 100,000 naira is going to turn to zero, and your land will be worthless. There are worthless lands out there. People think it's all lands that make money. That's not true. So they are able to capitalize on just the sheer size of the land. Keep in mind, an 8-hour road trip from San Ysidro border in San Diego all the way to San Francisco, you are going 75, 80 miles per hour on the expressway. If you've been in the US, you know we have some of the best road networks in the world. It might take you 1 week to go from one end of Niger to the other side. Even with a solid air force that Niger has. You see, these guys, they will play a game, what is called a game of attrition, meaning they will wait you out. You see, it's their community now. That is why anytime that you see or you notice a high wave of crime in the community, and I know that the Nigerian government is trying to blame it on, sometimes you hear them say that the militants are not Nigerians, that the militants are from another country. That's not true. A community tends to destroy itself from within. Anytime that you have a wave of criminality or crime like that, before you look outward, you got to look inward first. Because you're more likely to be robbed and hurt by the person closest to you than an outsider. So I personally, as an analyst and as an investor and as a world traveler, I've been around the world. I've been in risky places. I've been in tough places. I'm telling you that it's all internal. What I mean by the sheer size of the land. So we have Niger. In the top 15, you look at the most volatile states in Nigeria. These are the states that even the State Department of the United States wants people to stay away from. They are not wanting you to stay away from these places because they don't want you to go and enjoy yourself, or because they have an agenda against the state government or what have you. That is not what the United States State Department wants travelers against. It's just that if you are a US citizen and you end up in a state like Niger, nearly 77,000 square miles big, square kilometers big. If you are picked up, they may never find you again. That is why I'm advocating for breaking up these. Currently, there are over 30 different languages in Niger State alone. 30 different languages in Niger State. Is this where you want to go and park your investments? You see, the communities, they will turn on each other. That is what's happening right now in Niger State. There's no true infrastructure. There are no buildings. There's no real economy. An economy that you can scale. Even some might argue, yes, Niger State produces this agricultural product and that agricultural product. It still takes resources, right, to go in and harvest and cultivate and grow, doesn't it? So what is happening is you have thieves robbing from thieves. These guys are turning to each other. So now you tell me, what is a youth copper? Let's just give an example right now of a youth copper in the security space, or a youth copper that's looking to get it into law enforcement. They have an attrition issue. Because if you station a youth copper in this, and that's what Nigerian military is, what they do, they will just pull resources from Lagos. And then they'll say, go to Niger State and go and solve the Niger State problem. Whereas the armed militants in Niger State are simply playing a game of attrition. It's because it's their community now. They can wait you out. How many years can you give Niger? See that they were born there. So they may lie low for a little bit if pressure is on them. They may lie low. All right, we'll go and wait this one out. Yeah, he's going to come in and see that Niger State is a mess. And mind you, remember, these people are humans. Soldiers are going to start complaining to their superior officers that they are not properly armed. You see, you cannot be motivated to go and protect another person's land. It's the people inside Niger that are going to fix Niger. And to fix Niger, it has to be broken up. Think about it for a second. You can put 22 Lagos states inside Niger. So do we need to then break Niger State into 22 different states with 22 governors? I'm not saying that we should go to that extreme. It's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it needs to be broken up. States like they are just too big to be managed. Why do you think Akwa Ibom State broke off from Cross River? Cross River's land mass is about 36,000 square kilometers. It's because it was just too big to manage. You got to bring the power closer to the people. And compared to Niger State, Akwa Ibom is only what? 7,600 square meters as far as like our land mass goes. Let me tell you right now. Yes, 7,000 square kilometers. Akwa Ibom State is the size of Delaware. And you know Delaware is small. I personally think, guys, that no state in Nigeria should be more. We should have a cap. Maybe we cap it at 10,000 square kilometers. No state in Nigeria should be bigger than 10,000 square meters. Sorry, square kilometers, excuse me. So in Niger State's case, Niger has to be divided. If we are looking at that cap of 10,000, just to round it up, square kilometers, Niger State has to be broken down to 7 different independent states with their own local government, governors, law enforcement within that community. That is why you see in the US, it's usually where it starts. When they hire cops in the US system, usually those cops are hired from that community. That's where they are from. They know the people, they know the lay of the land. Some cases, yes, they may transfer you to go here, transfer you to go there, and families just generally just move in general, right? But by and large, law enforcement is hired from within the community. So you see why a place like Niger is not a great place for you to go and invest in. Nothing against Niger. It's part of Nigeria. You got to also look at the border. Niger State borders Kebbi State, volatile. Niger State borders Borno State, volatile. Niger State shares border with Benin Republic on the western side, volatile. You see, you got to look at your neighbors now. Why do you think the rich lives among the rich? Oh, another Niger state border, Zamfara. Z, volatile. Are you starting to now connect the dots? Kaduna, volatile. Kwara is also in the news lately with armed militants, volatile. They all have something in common. They share that with Niger State. Come with me. Like, this is why you guys come to me now. Kogi State, you don't really hear much about. But FCT Abuja has its own issues too in terms of criminality. So you have a place, right? You see, Niger State is the living room now for these armed militants because they know that they can't be touched. And let me be honest with you, the people who are doing this are not from Benin. This is contrary to what they want investors. They are not outsiders, they are insiders. When the citizen of a state doesn't have protection, so let's say me, I'm in my house and I know that my next door neighbor is one of the top kidnappers. I don't want to say that word, I just don't like it. One of the top criminals that on Nigeria's wanted list. Because they are living amongst each other. Now, people think they're in the bush. They are all living amongst each other. Why would I report him or her? When I am not protected, there's only two things that I can do. Actually, three. I can either keep my mouth shut, I can either move away, but where am I going to move to? I'm talking about people in Niger. Or I joined. Which one do you think it's most likely to happen? When you are starving, but your next door neighbor is eating well, living the life from through illicit crimes. Who do you think that the people are most likely to join? You see, that is why crime continues to compound. Are they going to go and report? If I go and report today, what makes you think that the armed militants don't have informants within law enforcement? And by the way, guys, it's been reported and there's no proof that these arms are actually sponsored and supplied by law enforcement. You are not going to be able to flush out crime within a community without the partnership and involvement of that community and people living in that community. Do you know that? That is why Nigeria continues to have issues. I talked about the neighboring states, right? Like Zamfara and Kebbi and Kaduna and Kogi. These are all states also with a large land mass. Number 2 to Niger is Borno State. Borno is at 70,898 square kilometers big. The closest US size to that is North Dakota. Taraba, you don't really hear much about Taraba. Kaduna, up and down. You kind of hear issues there. Kaduna is at 46,000 square kilometers big. That means it needs to be, if we want to stay at that 10K cap, that state has to be broken down into 4 different states. Bauchi, Zamfara is at 40,000. You see, big doesn't always have to mean good. This is what is causing the issue. Even if we had the technology, we still need the support of the community in order to be able to solve the crime sector in these highly volatile areas. Because it's not as if these militants are wearing a uniform where you can identify, oh, that guy is wearing a uniform is one of them. They are a part of the community. So they are essentially using the community as human shield. So you just can't go and drop. Every time you see them talking about Nigerian Air Force dropped bombs, who are they bombing? Where is the proof that they are not actually bombing unarmed civilians? And what is the incentive for a Nigerian soldier that I don't know how much they are making, but they can't be making more than maybe 100,000 naira a month? Does anybody know how much is a Nigerian? So how much is a Nigerian enlisted soldier earns, or even a Nigerian commissioned officer like a second lieutenant coming in? Are those guys earning more than 250,000, 300,000 naira a month? These are the people that you want to go and fight. So to wrap this, you are better off. Let me tell you some of the states, by the way, with a smaller land mass that's easily policed, where you can put your investment dollars for Nigerians abroad. Lagos is the smallest in terms of land mass. Lagos State is at 3,577 square meters. Look, here's another interesting data point. This one's going to shock you. So you have Lagos, right? 3,577. Then you have Anambra. You have Imo. Anambra is 4,844 square kilometers. It's a great land size. Then you have Imo, great land size. Then you have Ebonyi. You have Abia. You have Ekiti. You have Enugu. Enugu is the highest in that area at 7,161 square kilometers. But aren't they having southeast issues? Why? You see, their own issue is not about the land mass. Their issues is just more ideological. You see, up north with the Zamfaras and the Kebbis and the Kwaras and the Niger states, it's not really an ideological thing. It's just more. Listen, when you are born into instability, and all you've ever known, let's just say people who are 20 years old, born in Niger State, all they've ever known in their entire life has been crime, crime, crime. They have no concept of a good economy. And the majority of them, they can't even get out of Niger State, let alone getting out of Nigeria to go and see the world. So what they are taught is always survival. You are always on the back pedal. And I'm talking about those that haven't even joined the militant, the crime economy. And then you come to the southeastern part. Graciously, Akwa Ibom is not part of that. But then you come to areas like Abia, Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Ebonyi, with the perfect land mass of under 10,000 square kilometers. But they're having ideological problems. You see, when you're talking about one of the biggest fails in Nigeria, you shouldn't even be talking about Niger or Borno. You should be talking about those states that I just mentioned. One of the biggest fails. Because there's no reason for them to have problems. You see, to me, I would consider that a failure because you have all of the tools to be a great region in Nigeria. Straight line access to Lagos, coastal. You know, they're building the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, which we're going to talk about that on the next live. Stay tuned for that. And you see, today is holiday. Let's talk. I'm going to schedule that after this. We're going to talk about the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Give you guys some updates on that because I went to Nigeria and I saw it with my Korokoro eyes. So when we look at, as an investor, these areas have no reason to not be successful. Akwa Ibom is a great place. You see, I will always champion Akwa Ibom State. See, we don't have any ideological problems. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. We're an Akwa Ibom minds. What's up? We do not have any ideological issues in Akwa Ibom State. We are peaceful. So that is why people in Abia, Ebonyi, Anambra, one of the main reasons they come to Akwa Ibom State is for peace of mind. So please come. If your areas or your region can't use you or doesn't value your investments, Akwa Ibom values, bring it to Akwa Ibom State. Help me and my investment and my team. Let us make Akwa Ibom State the greatest state, maybe outside of Lagos, in the country of Nigeria. You see, that's where you want to park your investment dollars, guys. You want to go and buy land in Akwa Ibom right now. There's plans in the future to eventually turn Akwa Ibom Airport into an international airport, but that's going to take some time because in order for it to be considered an international airport, you have to have customs presence. There's just so much that goes on. So Akwa Ibom, even though people are saying, oh, Uyo Victor Atta International Airport, it is not an international airport, it's a regional airport. I like the aspirational goal. I mean, I like the aspirational aspect of, but everything should not be international. For you to have a true international airport, it has to really be a true international airport, meaning you should be able to connect a flight. So for Akwa Ibom to be truly an international airport, it has to have flight connection capabilities. We are nowhere near that. Meaning I have to be able to fly into Akwa Ibom, fly into Uyo, then connect a flight from Uyo, not to Kano, but connect a flight from Uyo to, let's say, Ghana. That is what basic criteria of an international airport. You got to be able to connect an international flight through that hub. And Akwa Ibom State is nowhere near that. So when you see Niger, oh, Enugu International Airport, Akwa Ibom International, Uyo International Airport, Victor Atta, it's all aspirational. That is actually deception in a way. It should be just Victor Atta Airport. Until you have the international capability, then you see Lagos is an international airport because you can connect a flight from Lagos to other countries. I think Nnamdi Azikiwe also can be classified as an international airport because I don't normally fly through Abuja, but can you not connect a flight from Abuja to another country? So Nigeria, we're always good at just naming. We don't really put a thought process behind that naming convention. You know, something is not international, you say it is. So these southern states, guys, like I mentioned, the Enugus, Abia, Ebonyi, in my personal opinion, any state with that is under 10,000 square kilometers big should not have problems in Nigeria because it's small enough to police. It's small enough to manage. One governor can manage that whole state. But when you start looking at bigger states, you have anything more than like 20,000, it's usually when 20,000 square kilometers, do you notice it's usually where the problem starts? Jigawa, Katsina, Sokoto, Nasarawa. Oyo is actually there. Oyo is 28,000 square kilometers. Benue is 34,000. They can't even farm in Benue anymore because the armed militants have taken over. Kebbi is also been in the news, guys, with school children being snatched up. Kwara, like I mentioned, Zamfara is up there. These all have one major thing in common, which, in my honest opinion, is the root cause. It's just the sheer land mass of these states. It's impossible to secure a state that big with the resources that Nigeria has. Are we truly there in terms of modern technology, drone technology, facial recognition? Even if we are there, we still need a trained workforce to be able to work those technologies. All the technology in the world, let's go back to Niger, is not going to secure Niger for the sheer fact that it's just too fucking big. And that's where they are hiding. So if you are picked up in Kebbi, because Kebbi shares a border with Niger, more than likely, you see, if I were, you see, criminals, you got to take a path of least resistance. I'm not trying to coach you. I'm not a criminal. I'm a law-abiding citizen. But they always say now, to catch a crook, you got to think like a crook. If you were a criminal, won't you take a path of least resistance? I'll just cross into Kebbi State, pick people up, take them to Niger. A place that I know that the Nigerian law enforcement can't enter. Because you need local on the ground intelligence to be able to identify spots and identify high value targets. The best people who can give you that information are the human assets on the ground, meaning people in that community. Because if I were an investigator, am I going to start investigating from Abuja? No, I'm going to get my team, go on the ground and start talking. See, that's what Green Berets do in the US Army. They blend in with the local populace. They eat their food. They learn their language. They gain their trust. And then they move based on that intelligence that they have from people on the ground. You see, guys, these media companies, Nigerian media companies, they only have a short little window for them to write their news. They only have there's only a certain amount of time for them, but they are not really going to break down the root cause. You think going around and bombing the forest is they're just going to, okay, fine, they might have some decoys there. Just build some fake decoys there. You just dropped a $1 million ordinance on a tent with nobody inside. And then you take a picture and a video, and then you're going to show the Nigerian people that, oh, you're doing something. It's not easy, though, to break states down. I just can't imagine how Nigeria was before. Remember, we went at 36 states for a long time, but we've been at 36 states now for quite a while. There are some states that's just too big to secure, too big to manage, that needs to be broken down. Niger is one of them. Borno State, second largest in landmass in Nigeria, 70,898 square kilometers. Borno State is. It is too big to manage. Oh yeah, thank you too. Are you Health Green Life? Are you a veteran as well? Thank you. I really appreciate it. Do you think outside international forces are responsible for terrorist militants in Nigeria and surrounding areas? No, outside international forces have absolutely nothing to do with the terrorism and the armed militants in Nigeria. It's based on what I said. Look at the common denominator. Where are they operating mostly out of? Isolated states. And guess what? They are also preying on their own community. It's not as if militants are coming from Niger State and snatching people up in Akwa Ibom or snatching people up in Lagos, are they? They're not. They are only snatching people in their own community. That's usually how it works. That's how crime works. And Nigeria, unfortunately, I'm not, you see, Nigerian law enforcement is smart and capable. But tell me how it's humanly possible to police land the size of Niger states with small resources. You see, in the United in California, I'm just giving you guys an example that you can put 22 California, 22 uh, uh you can put 22 Lagos states in Niger. Normally, you have counties. I'll just give you a US example. You have counties, then you have cities, then you have towns, and they are all connected. Because you also got to think also of jurisdiction. Like who has jurisdiction of something of land that big, for instance, in Niger? So usually this is how it goes. Let me give you an example, perfect example of the state of Nevada. So in the state of Nevada, we have three different counties. We have Clark County, we have Henderson County, and then we have North Las Vegas County. If crime is committed in Clark County and the suspect crosses over from Clark County into Henderson County, now Clark County, in terms of arresting that suspect, they don't have jurisdiction of arrest anymore. They have to pass that information off to Henderson County Police. But here's the thing, where the crime is committed is where the suspect will be extradited to. So that suspect can go from Clark County to Henderson County to North Las Vegas County, does not matter. It's like who has jurisdiction of the arrest has to be in the hands of that county where the suspect is. But the person that has the jurisdiction of prosecuting that suspect is where the crime was committed. So if a suspect commits a crime in in Clark County and drives to New York, law enforcement in Clark County can only partner and work with the New York jurisdiction. They'll share information, they'll share intelligence, because when the crime is committed, they will know, okay, this is the person that we're looking for. So they will share the intelligence with New York, but they can't arrest in New York. New York law enforcement has to arrest and then extradite that suspect back to Clark County for prosecution. Does Nigeria have that kind of a system in Niger State? Do we? So the problem is sometimes it's the little things that counts. Having these processes in place and these jurisdictions in place, that counts. So let's say somebody gets You see, what do you call it? Niger is so big. There's 33 different languages in Niger State. Law enforcement is practically non-existent. You see, having one command post to command, even if you have 50 different command posts, the land mass is too much. And that is why these criminals are capitalizing on that isolation, because they know that if something happens in this village, it might take 3 days for the closest command post to respond to that distress call. And that is how they are able to go in, relax, raid a village, have dinner, stroll to the next village, raid it, have dinner. Stroll to the next village, raid that one, have dinner. By the time you investigate village 1, they have already raided 10 more. So you are always playing catch up. That is why they have been unable, with all of their military weapons, they've been unable to solve the crime sector. And eventually, for the armed militants, there's also eventually going to be nothing for you to raid. Then what are you going to do? This is usually what happens. You see all those bordering states that I talked about? Eventually, there will be no more resources in Niger State because there's nobody investing there. There is no true economy there. There's no more farms for you to raid. There's really nothing. You're done. You've raided you've cleaned up the land. And then you're going to cross over to Kebbi. And then you're going to raid all of Kebbi. And when there's nothing else for you to do there, you are going to then cross over to other neighboring states. You see, that is why places like Lagos is out of reach to them. So if you're in Lagos State, don't worry about militants coming to do anything. Because they have to, first of all, kill and destroy the resources in their homeland. And then now they also have the challenge of operating in an environment that they are not familiar with. You see, you got to be really, you see, for you to truly operate, you got to be comfortable in your skin. You got to be comfortable in your area. You know the people, you know the language. So a place like Lagos is not at risk. A place like Lagos is a good place to go and park your investments. Actually, I should not say park. It's a place for you to grow your investment dollars, guys. Perfect in terms of landmass. You couldn't write a better story. It's small. Akwa Ibom State is just what? Double the size of Lagos. Also a great place for you to invest. Peaceful. Niger, Borno, Zamfara. All these high landmass areas. And also, if you're in the US, you need to start paying really close attention to the State Department's warning. See, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's a shame when I see a state like Abia. I don't know if Abia is in the state of on the list of the State Department. Let me go ahead and Google it. There are some states that should not be. List of Nigerian states. Nigerian states in US States Department of no goes. Of no goes, okay. It's not giving me a list. But it was recently. You can go actually and Nigerian Travel Advisory. 1 second here. Just pulling it up. Okay, I got it. So according to the US State Department, guys, you should reconsider travel to Nigeria. Actually, they are not saying reconsider travel to Nigeria. They're saying reconsider travel to these following Nigerian states due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, armed gangs, inconsistent availability of healthcare services in case something were to happen. So this is according to the US State Department, some states you don't want to travel to in Nigeria. Borno State, Yobe, Kogi, Northern Adamawa State due to terrorism and other safety issues. Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara. You see, those ones I can understand because the land mass is just too much to police. Now, this is where what kills me. This last section of places that they are telling Americans not to travel to, that they are telling you not to invest. This is the one that kills me most. These states should not be on this list, but unfortunately, listen, if you are on the State Department list of no-goes, places not to travel to, stay away from, Abia, Anambra State, Bayelsa, Delta State, Enugu State, Imo State, and Rivers State, the State Department is telling Americans not to go to due to crime and armed gangs. There's no reason these states that are just, you see, the Bornos and the Bauchis, and not, I can kind of see those. But there's no reason for Southeast states to be on the State Department's list of no-go states. My goodness, this kills the economy, guys. I mean, think about it for a second. This destroys the economy. There's no reason. We have you have the corridor. You say me, I'm an Akwa Ibomite. Akwa Ibom is not on this list. Come now. But these other states, it's a damn shame. And they are on the State Department's list, and they are telling US investors, Nigerians in America, don't go and invest in these places. So you go to ask Rich, well, these states, Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, they are under the 10,000 square kilometer threshold for investments. Okay, Rich, what should I do? Should I invest there? Should I not? CJ, is it because of Nnamdi Kanu? I think so. But we're going to get to that. So you're going to ask, well, Rich, are you saying I should not invest in Abia State and Anambra and Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, Imo? Only time will tell, guys. Let's see what happens. Because now that the Nigerian government is saying that the individual that's causing this unrest, now that individual has been convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, let's see if the governors or the government of Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa can make a state to the State Department of the US and other. And if you think about it too, you guys got to think about this. If I'm your friend and I'm telling you not to go a certain place and you respect me, are you going to say, Rich, fuck you, I'm going anyway? Think about it. When you are in the State Department's list of high-risk states in Nigeria from the US State Department, US allies are going to relatively stay away from that area. Canada is a US ally. The United Kingdom is a US ally. You think of all of these US, because they all share intelligence. So if you're asking me, Rich, should I not invest? Like I said, to me, it's an embarrassment to see the Abias, the Anambras, and the Bayelsas of Nigeria, Delta, on a do not. Here it says, with the exception of Port Harcourt is safe. But any other part of rivers is not, according to this. My advice, though, because let me tell you something, me, I'm only going where my money has the best chance to grow. Let me tell you something. If they say today, if Akwa Ibom State for some reason ends up on the list of places not to invest in or travel to from the US State Department, I'm sorry, Akwa Ibom, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to take my money to a place that I know is going to grow. Unfortunately, I may not stop altogether, but I'm going to reduce my activities in volatile areas and pull out eventually. I know Nigerian government, you guys are too focused on China, but you got to pay attention to the US State Department. It's like being on the FBI 10 most wanted list. Who wants to be on FBI's 10 most wanted list? You guys may be thinking, it's just a list. But people pay attention to these lists. When the US government is telling people from Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa, Enugu, don't go, if they catch you, we've warned you, right? That's what the US government is going to say. Did you look? You see, because the responsibility is on you now to follow. We've posted this. If I were, let me just advise for a second. I want to directly advise the leaders of Abia, Anambra, but actually the leaders of all these damn states that's on this do not travel list. Fix your state and get off the list. If I am an investor, the first place I'm going to do is reach out to the State Department. I'm not talking about an investor that's going and doing $10,000 with it. I'm talking about a major infrastructural, existential investor. I'm going to go to the US State Department and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. Is this state on your list? If we are originally planned on investing in Abia State, and Abia is on the State Department's list of places not to touch, I'm going to take that investment dollars and go where in a place that's not on the list. Like Akwa Ibom and other states. So my advice to the leaders of these states that I mentioned, do everything within your power to get off the list. For the sake of your state, for the growth of your state. And I'm not just talking of external investments. I am also talking of internal investments. You want to get off the list. And look, I've said this before that Nigeria is not doing enough to partner with the US. That's why I respect Dangote. And I've go back and watch yesterday's video on Dangote's partnership with Honeywell. I posted it on the archives. Go ahead and check that out. You see, he's a private investor. He gets it. Government leaders are politicians. They are not business people. So they are running to China. They are running to India. China is actually the largest exporter of Nigerian products. Do you know that? India too. So it's funny to me how, look, when you look at like, where does Nigeria export to? India, China. Don't you know that those ones are buying Nigerian products, taking it to their country, tweaking it a little bit, and then saying that it's made in India and it's made in China, then selling it to the United States? Don't you know that that's what they're doing? We don't have anything. You see, in these volatile areas, this food belt, if a farmer that's supposed to sell something for $1 a kilo has an offer for 25 cents a kilo, when that product is actually in the market, what $1 a kilo, why would they not sell? Why would they risk holding on to something that could potentially be compromised in terms of their farm, crops getting stolen, crops getting destroyed, crops? You see, that is what China is doing. That is what they are doing. They're capitalizing on these failures, these systems failures, and this infrastructure failures is what they are capitalizing on. So when you guys are excited, just ship 30 containers to China, ship 30 at what price? If you were that good, why can't you ship 30 containers to the US at competitive price, market price? You are selling it to China for 25 cents a pound. All landed in China is maybe 50 cents a pound. All landed. China is going to turn around and sell it for $2 a pound to the United States and say it's from China. Don't you know that that's what's happening? You see, guys, there's so much going on, but unfortunately, time is an enemy. Investors, I'm talking to you directly right now. You see, you don't have 30 years, 40 years to recoup your investment. So I'm not saying you should invest today and recoup tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. Come on in. That's my daughter. What's up, baby? Hi. How are you? I'm on live. How are you? Say hello to everybody. Hello. You just woke up. What you got? Yes. What is that? What is it? You got sharing with my audience? Yeah. Yeah. That was what Jeanette made. Hey, I need more coffee. You see, when you get 7 years old, if you send a message, hey, baby, can you give me some coffee? Send me some coffee. Be careful, don't spill. Go. Okay. Or ask mommy if you can bring it. Ask mommy. Yeah. Thank you, Jane. Welcome. Yeah. Is it because of Nnamdi Kanu? Possibly. We'll see what happens. With that situation now, there are people there that talk. Listen, when someone has been convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, someone who refuses to state their own defense, because that is what the Nigerian government said, is that Nnamdi Kanu was given an opportunity to actually defend himself. Okay, listen, CJ, if somebody accuses you of something that you didn't do, are you not going to go in and say and defend yourself? If somebody says that you committed a crime, CJ, I'm giving you an example. If somebody said that you committed a crime in Las Vegas, where I am, and you are in Canada, where you are, you see, you gotta tell them that, prove that I was in Las Vegas now. You see, the burden is always on the prosecution. You see, they were able to prove that he was the ones orchestrating this instability. And mind you, I'm not saying that it's Nnamdi Kanu's fault that all these southeastern states are on the US do not travel list when they should not be. There's no reason Abia, Anambra, Delta, Enugu, Imo should be on the US do not travel list. You guys are leaving too much money on the table. You see, investors are not dumb. They are not reckless. Most, especially those who got rich or got wealthy through sheer nose down hard work. Now, if it's just someone going out there and stealing and robbing, they don't value money, they may just go and start doing reckless things. But investors are not stupid. The number one objective of an investor is to recoup their investments, number one, and make money on top of it, number two. The objective of an investor is not to be your friend or to sit and wait to see what happens in a volatile condition state. That is not the objective. So, for those of you who are going out, you think obtaining a loan is going to solve your problem. Remember, if I'm loaning you $500,000, come on in, baby. That's Jeanette. Come on in, baby. That's my coffee. Yeah. Careful, careful, careful. You spilled it, but thank you. He burned you. Hey, don't do that. Don't show your chest. Kiss. Hi. Yeah, so where did you serve? Healthy green lifestyle. Hey guys, let's go ahead and just maybe talk about this Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway too, since we're at it. I was initially thinking about starting a new session for it, but I'm just going to clip it from this one. But before we go into that, we'll talk more. Welcome, guys. Hey, go ahead and share this. Today is Thanksgiving, and so I have all day. Daddy, come on. Where do you want me to go, Jeanette? How long have you making the video on Thanksgiving? Give me another hour. No. It's too long? Too long. It's too long. Okay. Just give me another 30 minutes. No. 20. Okay. 20. Okay. Give me 20 minutes. Okay. Love you. 10. 10. Okay. Love you. Bye-bye. See ya. See ya. Proud dad of 2 daughters. Okay. So they are saying that at least, you see, guys, it's not everybody in Igbo land that likes Nnamdi Kanu. Some think he's a folk hero. Some think he's advocating for the demarginalization of the Igbos. But there are other Igbos that have been affected in one way or another through his activities. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. For those who are thinking that if he goes free or if he's pardoned today, Igbo land will be peaceful. Now lie you. Because if you are free and you have affected my family, I'm coming for you. So it's just the way it is. He was not acquitted by the court system. So he was convicted by the court system and sentenced and put away. Some people are even saying that the judge was merciful. The judge was merciful. That's what some people are saying. Instead of giving him a death sentence, he was given life. So now he wants to appeal, right? But on what grounds? You didn't mount a defense. What are you appealing on? He wanted to represent himself. Remember, he went through multiple attorneys. They will come, they will leave. The new ones will come, they will leave. Because he wanted to defend himself. Okay, if you wanted to defend himself, why didn't you defend yourself? So now that he is gone, all me I'm interested in, guys, to be honest with you, you see, There's no reason why the southeastern, south part of Nigeria can't be Manhattan, Dubai, LA, Chicago, Miami. There's no reason why. These regions in the these cities in the US thrive for a reason. And to be honest with you, even internally, self in the US, in rural areas of America, that you see, people can say what you want about the United States. There, there's more wealth in rural America than there is in the cities. Do you know that? There's more wealth in rural America. There are rural people in rural America right now. They are running laps around those living in the cities. Nigeria can be like that. So in a way, we are the architect of our own issues. I really want to see, in my lifetime at least, the southeastern part become and live to its full potential. But we can't be having this issue. Every country is going to face their level of domestic, people. Listen, the United States Nigeria, we've already had our civil war, haven't we? A civil war that my dad, not my dad, my grandfather fought in. And the union won. The union was able to unify Nigeria and say, okay, we don't want a certain part of the country breaking off away. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to divide Nigeria. It's also happened in the United States when the Confederates wanted to secede from the Union. And then it was a long drawn out civil war. A lot of people died, but eventually US was unified. Could you imagine? Do you think the US would be the country it is today if we weren't truly United States? Could you imagine if there was a line drawn and it's like this side is their own and that side? There would be a problem. That is what is going on in Nigeria right now. Okay. So Tinubu is starting state police. Let me start. Trump administration is doing this to listen. I really think we should partner more though with the United States in terms of law enforcement and policing because the US has the experience. Sometimes you got to go with someone that's been where you are trying to go. You see, Nigeria has only been an independent country for 26 years, 1990, 1999. While the US has been an independent country for 250 years. So they have the experience there. They can guide, they can advise, they can help. I don't think that the US is trying to invade, contrary to what some people think that the US is trying to invade. The US is not trying to invade. I'm sitting in the United States. I've been in the US Army. There's no incentive for the US to invade Nigeria. For what? So they can start. So do you think the US wants to police Niger State? You see, that's what an invasion does. When you invade a country, you have to take over the country's problems. You have to take over the country's debts. In addition, you also have to grow the country. Do you think the US has a country that spends $3.4 trillion a year in imports? And a country that generates $3.4 trillion, $3.5 trillion a year. So altogether, $7 trillion a year just in import export. They are going to go and deal with Nigeria. It doesn't work like that. All they can do is just help. Eventually, see, the US is just going to keep on warning Americans of don't go here, don't go there through the State Department's website. But people who are always talking about invading, these guys don't know nothing. They don't know what they are talking about. They are very sentimental. They don't know. So outside international forces have nothing to do with what's happening in Nigeria. What's happening in Nigeria is 100% Nigerian made. They are going to try to blame the border, the porousness of the border. Okay, then secure your border now. If I don't want animals entering my yard, see, my property here is gated. I'm fenced. I put up a fence to prevent the animals from entering. Same logic goes with border control in Nigeria. If my neighbor is unable to finance that fence construction, but it's the neighbor's animal that keeps coming into my yard, you see, I have the right. It's to protect my property, to fence my own property. That is what border control is all about. Do you think Mexico is trying to build a wall to keep illegal immigrants from entering the US? No, but the US is building that wall to keep them out. It's the same concept. So all this thing is just trying to point a finger to try and alleviate some of the fears, to try and make Nigerians believe that it's not Nigerians that's committing this crime. Bullshit. Those militants that are coming in through, they are all Nigerians. Don't let anybody like, okay, show me otherwise. Show me proof. Capture one now. When was the last time that they paraded them? You know, in Nigeria, they'll catch you, they'll parade you. When was the last time you saw a parade? Or did they stop that? Show me now that this person that is coming into Nigeria to commit crimes is from is from the US. Show me their passport now. Show me how they entered the country. Show me. They are Nigerians that are doing these things. Unfortunately, we just don't want to be honest. So starting the state police, you see, CJ, what okay, you got to train, you got to arm, you got to pay them well. CJ, I'm sure Canadian law enforcement, they are paid well. They are not rich, but they are paid well. The average police officer in America today makes over $100,000 a year. If I'm just coming straight out of police academy with all my package and my benefits, the average cop in America, 100,000 times 1,500, makes an equivalent of 150 million naira a year. Fresh out of the police academy. Kate's uncle, Don, is a retired LPD police officer, Los Angeles Police Department. He was there for 25 years. He just retired. We went to his retirement party in LA about a month ago. So I know these things. A young recruit coming out of the police academy into the US police force. A total in all inclusive, maybe their base salary might be $85,000 a year, but they have other added benefits. By the time you add in all their benefits, incentives over time, they make over 100,000. You see, that's an incentive for somebody to come in and help build a community. How much is a Nigerian police officer making fresh out of police academy? How much? If they're making 100K a month, they're making too much. So he wants to build a state police. Why are you building a state police now? Why wasn't that part of Tinubu's campaign when he was campaigning for presidency? So now that the pressure, you see, it's not as if this all started. This has been ongoing. You see, being successful as a state governor, which Tinubu was, you see, a lot of people want to be Nigerian presidents. You have to preside over the entire republic as a Nigerian president. Your presidency doesn't stop at the FCT. It's so much easier to be a state governor than a Nigerian president. Niger, Tinubu problem. Borno, Tinubu problem. Kebbi, Tinubu problem. Zamfara, Tinubu problem. Everything that happens in Niger, good and bad, Tinubu problem. Do you think a state police is going to solve that? Look, solving a crime largely starts with intelligence. You got to have the intelligence on ground. Where is our version of the FBI? Where is our version of the CIA? Where is Nigeria's version of the NSA? See, these are all national intelligence agencies. Where is Nigeria's version of the sheriff department? You see, you guys, you have vigilantes. One of the worst things you can do is to arm somebody that is not qualified. We are putting the safety of our communities in the hands of vigilantes. Would you ever find a vigilante in America? Even you, CJ, you are in Canada. Do they have vigilantes there? You have cops. And in the US, there's no such thing as a secret intelligence agent. No, you have the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They investigate every crime committed against the United States government. DSS couldn't even handle Nnamdi Kanu in the courts. Can Nnamdi Kanu try that outburst in an American court? Is he crazy? I mean, I saw a video where he was punching people, pushing people, yelling at the judge. And you see them, so-called DSS, in their suits. Being pushed around, being talked to recklessly. That is our law enforcement. That is our intelligence in Nigeria. These guys, they couldn't even handle a suspect in a federal courtroom. There are great things happening in Abia under Alex Oti. I don't disagree with that, but it can be better if Abia gets off the State Department to not travel to states. Wouldn't it be better, CJ? Would you disagree? So, not saying that Abia is not doing something, but guys, you also got to think about the international influence and international perception of your state as a governor. You see, I know he's doing his best because he inherited this, what do you call it, this sit-at-home problem. He came in and he inherited this Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, all this instability that's happening. All those, it's not Alex Ortiz in the making. He didn't do it. None of these happened under his watch. And does anybody even know this Nnamdi Kanu IPOB thing? Whose watch did it happen on? I heard it was in 2015. Who was governor of? First of all, let's say, where is he from? Where is Nnamdi Kanu from? Does anybody know? Okay, let me Google it. Where was Nnamdi Kanu born? Kanu born. Oh, he was born in Abia, CJ. Okay. When did IPOB start in Nigeria? Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, was founded in 2012. Okay. Okay, so he's from Abia. He formed IPOB in 2012. Who was governor? Who was governor of Abia State in 2012. Tio Orji was the governor of Abia State in 2012. This is the same year that Nnamdi Kanu launched IPOB, 2012. Tio Orji of PPA was the governor, okay? Who was president of Nigeria in 2012? Was it Obasanjo? Who was president of Nigeria in 2012? You see, me, I was in the US chilling in 2012. Oh, I don't know if it's spelled today. I think it was Obasanjo. Oh, your boy, Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria in 2012, the same year that Kanu formed IPOB. What year was Boko Haram formed? What year was Boko Haram founded? Okay, so Boko Haram was founded in 2002. Who was president of Nigeria in 2002? Wasn't it Babangida of Nigeria in 2002? Do we even have a president then? Oh, Olusegun Obasanjo. So Boko Haram started under Obasanjo's watch. IPOB started under Jonathan's watch. And you think Tinubu is going to fix both? He inherited this. So Boko Haram has been around for 2025 minus 2002. For 23 years, just a little over a generation. Because me, growing up, I didn't, in the 80s, there was no such thing. Our own criminal was Anini. For those who remember the Lawrence Anini, that was our own criminal. But he was not a terrorist. He was just I kind of guess he was a terrorist though, because he killed some of his own people. But Babangida dealt with him. He was caught and he was removed. So Boko Haram has been around for 23 years. 2025 minus 2012. IPOB has been around for 13 years. See, these things have been brewing for years. It's been brewing for quite some time. Tinubu state police is not going to solve it. Let me tell you what is going to solve it, guys. Number one, if we want to solve that northern part, we just, unfortunately, and I don't know if this is even possible, but we need to break those states down. Those states are just too big to police. And then on the southeastern, south part of Nigeria, like I said, guys, maybe the conviction and imprisonment of Kanu, remember, he was convicted. It wasn't as if, and I know some people don't want to hear this, he was tried and convicted. It wasn't as if they snatched him off the street and then they gave him 23 life sentence. He went through the legal court system for, was it 10 years? Love it, hate it. Nigeria can't just go and grab people and give them life sentences. It does not work like that. There has to be probable cause that a crime was committed. And that's all they need. People think that they need more than that. That's all they need. There has to be, it's like if a cop comes to my house right now, he can only enter and put me under arrest if he believes that there's a probable cause of a crime being committed. He has to believe that there's a problem. And after that, he has to actually then prove the commission of that crime. It's not the cop that does it, though. It's the investigators, the prosecution. partnership with detectives and investigators. They are the ones that charge people for crimes. And I know that people want to believe that he was just snatched and put away. It does not work that way. Nigeria, yes, we are not perfect, but we still have jurisdictional and legal systems. But he was just unable to defend himself. He was actually deemed sane and fit to defend himself, but he refused. That's what they do. They'll put you on a psychological analysis. They'll have a my dad was a psychologist for the state of Texas, forensics department, forensic psychologist for the state of Texas. What my dad did. My dad worked in the Texas prison system. You see me, you see this bald head. I used to go to the prisons to get my hair cut because my dad didn't want to pay for, Niger, old school Niger guy now. My dad refused to pay for a barber. How much was barber back in 1990, 1999? $5. And maybe you tip them $2. You are all out, right? You were out $7 at the most. Let me just give you 10. My father would drive me 2 hours to the prison in Texas. BETO1. If you guys know the prison system, you know BETO1. Google it, BETO1. We lived in Palestine, Texas at the time. My dad would drive me 2 hours to the prison to get my hair cut as a child. It was the prisoners. I remember as a child, you walk into that prison barber shop, you see guards, shotgun, standing guard. Maybe the person that cuts my hair was a murderer. I still remember his name, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell might have killed 50 people. But Mr. Bell was the one cutting my hair in BETO1. That's what my dad did. He would drive me 2 hours. I will cut my hair for 30 minutes and then we'll drive 2 hours back. So me, I know about the prison system in the US very, very well. And maybe part of it too, though, it's like when I look back now, it was a bonding experience, though, for my dad and I. Because being in a car with somebody for 2 hours, actually 4 hours, you tend to bond. We'll bond. So to him, I didn't think it was a money thing. I think it was just more, he wanted to expose me to the prison system and to see how prisons work. And literally, like, honestly, we'll park and we'll go through like 50 different gates, checking ID. Is this your son? Yes, this is my son, Richard. I brought him in to go and get his haircut. And then, we'll hang out. And so that was what I did as a kid growing up, getting my haircut in the prison system in the US. Healthy Green Life. So starting the state police, I wish him well. I don't think that that's going to solve the insecurity problem. The landmass, remember too, most people who are committing these crimes, these armed militants cannot read. They can't write. They probably can't add. All they know is crime. So they don't really know how to, even all that money that they are so-called ransom money, is it as if that they are going to go and build a company they're just probably going to use to buy weapons and just continue robbing. And when you have a system of a den of thieves, you got to remember, not only are they worried about law enforcement that may or may not come, the armed militants are also worried about other armed militants because they are all factions. One group can't lead them all. They are all different factions. So Rich Barriquet may have his own gang, and then CJ may have her own gang, and then somebody else may have their own gang. That's usually how it works. And then if this gang sees that this particular gang is just did a job, they may rob them. So it's not as if these criminals are sleeping well at night too. They are not sleeping well at night. They are sleeping with their eyes open too, because not only do they have to worry about law enforcement, they also have to worry about other gangs killing them and robbing them. So starting the state police, Tinubu is just, you see, that is thinking 40 years. That was like 50, 40 years ago. That's not going to solve anything. It's more complex. Did you follow recent G20 summit? Yes, I heard that that's happening in I didn't follow this year's, but I know next year is happening in Miami. The world is turning its back on the US. Well, who is the world? Define the world now. I think the US still has very strong allied partners. I don't think the world is turning its back to the US. Listen, why? For what? Because Trump? Trump is only going to be here 3 more years. So then what are you going to do? Come back and start kissing us? No. If you don't like Donald Trump, you just ride out his presidency. Just ride it out. There's nothing you can do. You just ride it out. Remember, he cannot do a 3rd term. You are capped at 2 terms in the US. So even if other Western, you see, these guys, you can't be in NATO. You cannot be a NATO member and be against the US. So anybody that is probably criticizing Trump may not be a NATO ally. Do you think Poland is cares? Do you think United Kingdom? I don't know if Canada is part of NATO. I'm not sure, because Canada is just naturally protected because of the close proximity to the US. To be honest with you, Canada doesn't even really need an armed forces because the US is like big brother. But no, I think the US is still strong, doing great things all over the world. Like, forget all this Trump stuff. If you peel the onions, the US is still the #1 leader, bar none. Across every imaginable sector you can name of. Now, military, US is #1. Is it economy? US is #1. Is it infrastructure? Is it technology? US is #1. Name where US. I'm talking about, like, maybe education. We are kind of behind in education. But when the rubber meets the road, is it not the United States that the world turns to? When the rubber meets the road. So if you don't like Donald Trump, guys, all you can do is just ride out Donald Trump's presidency. And I think 2028 candidates are starting to sort of like pop up. I think people want AOC to run, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. But AOC can't just go from a rep to... She's still very young. I think she needs to become a senator first and help us put the right judges in place. That's what Senate does. The Senate confirms. So AOC probably has maybe another 10 years to go before he can truly be a viable presidential candidate. People are also saying that Michelle Obama should run. So 2028 is going to be a barn burner when it comes to candidates in the US. Like, who's going to run? Is it Michelle Obama? Is it AOC? Is it even Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is talking about it. She's not going to win, I don't think, but she's talking about it. So 2028 is going to be interesting. Hang in there. 3 years goes by fast. I mean, what? In 2 months will be Donald Trump's official first year as in 2nd term. But remember, 3 years is also a long time. But all you can do is just ride it out and see what happens. I don't think J.D. Vance is a strong enough candidate, though, to lead the Republican Party in the US. And Trump hasn't flat out said he was going to support J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance sought Trump's advice on running for presidency, but Trump hasn't said... He hasn't found his successor yet. So 2028 is going to be interesting. We have... Is it 2028? Yes, 2028. So the midterm elections is coming up in the US. Hey, listen, guys, always hedge on a proven economy. The United States is not going anywhere in terms of leadership. So if you bet against America, you will lose. Don't bet against America. It's not perfect, but it's the closest to a perfect system that there is in the world today. Is the American capitalistic system. Is the closest to perfection. Because here, you eat what you kill. Your success or your failure is dependent on you. Name each other system. Here, free speech, Free speech is also in Nigeria, but you also have to remember that there's consequences to things that you say. People have been cancelled for speaking a certain way. They've been cancelled for believing in a certain system. But at least we have that option and that benefit of a free speech. So G20 summit, Miami. He said that South Africa is not invited. I don't know what his beef is with South Africa, Sha. I think Trump is, he thinks that South Africans are out there killing white farmers. So South Africa is not invited to the G20 summit in Miami happening in the US next year. What is your MOS? Healthy Green Lifestyle. Were you an officer or were you an enlisted? I wasn't enlisted. I enlisted as a private and left as a specialist. So I was there for 3 years and then took my GI Bill and went to college in California. I would rather partner with Canada. Canada is good. I like Canada. Like I said, I had a friend from Saskatchewan. But let me tell you something. Canada benefits from the United States a lot. So they may have their problems, but I think Canada has that. You say Canada is protected, not just from a natural geographical viewpoint, but so you have North America, you have Canada at the top, you have US in the middle, and you have Mexico at the bottom. And also, Canada is a very clean and safe state. You guys don't cause problems. Canadians are the nicest. I have never met a Canadian in my life that I did not like. They are so sweet, so gentle, so kind, so friendly. It's very wrong to also bet against Canada. Canada is a great country. CJ, I'm with you on that one. Hopefully one day I get a chance to come to Canada and hang out. What do you think about Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso? I mean, Ibrahim Traore had a social media push for quite some time. But I think right now, people have kind of moved on away from what he did. Some people are saying that he's building Burkina Faso. My friend, actually, Tony Amara, maybe I should not have put his name out there. Burkina Faso guy. When I was in LA, we were both together in LA. When we were both in the entertainment space, we wanted to be models and actors. Tony was like when you look at the statue of David, his six-pack was like it was carved in, chiseled in. So as a Burkina Faso-born US citizen, my boy Tony likes Ibrahim Traore, Captain Ibrahim Traore. They think he's doing a great job for the people of Burkina Faso. But I think that, you see, people from a military standpoint, let me tell you why the military took over. It was because of insecurity. Let's be honest. They felt that the civilian presidency wasn't doing enough to secure the country. So Ibrahim Traore did not take over because he wants to be in power. He took over because he wanted to fix the Sahel region. If you look at the map of Africa, just look at the map of Africa, and then you take a ruler from the top point to the bottom point, okay, and then you find a middle point and then stretch that middle point from the left to the right. That area is called the Sahel area. That is where all these militants are operating from. And Burkina Faso is smack there. Also, with the northern part of Nigeria is also there on that Sahel area. That's where there's Al Qaeda and ISIS African faction. That's where they're operating from in that Sahel area. So the military, the Burkina Faso military felt that the presidency wasn't doing enough to protect the people. Also, remember, the number one duty of a soldier is to protect the homeland. And he felt they weren't receiving that support because soldiers were being killed by terrorists, they were being killed by Al Qaeda Africa faction, they were being killed by ISIS African faction. That is the primary motivation for Burkina Faso to take over. It's not because of the gold. People, oh, it's because of the gold. No, he wanted to secure. Now, whether it's still yet to be known, though, if they've gained any traction in terms of the security of Burkina Faso, though. Nobody knows. Yes, it's doing things economically, but you got there because you wanted the country to be secure. But in order for you to secure a nation, though, and build the economy of a nation, in order to build the economy of a nation, there needs to be the nation needs to be secured. People need to feel comfortable that they can get up, go in and put in a good day, honest day of work, get paid honest wage, and go home to their family. That's how you build a country, you build a nation. So that's the main reason. For those who are wondering why he took over as the head of state, because he's not the president, he was not elected. He can't legally call himself a president. He's a captain. And normally, guys, what happens is when a captain takes over, and this is why I like him in a way, because he's not doing it for himself. Normally, if he were someone else, as soon as he got into that power, he would have promoted himself to a general. But he didn't do that. He maintained his rank. Yes, he's a head of state, but he's still a captain. Let me tell you, here's the chain of command. It starts with the second lieutenant. Then a first lieutenant is above a second lieutenant. Then a captain is above a first lieutenant. And then a major. So Ibrahim Traore is at the bottom pole. But this is where this is why captains are powerful. Because they are the ones that are leading and directing the soldiers. You see, a major is going to give a captain, okay, take this hill. Then a captain is going to rally his boys. So Traore had the benefit of having those guys with him under his command. You see, generals they just go and chill, they don't chop belly food. The generals just sit there, they are officers, they are just CEOs of a company. But the people who are actually going out there and taking the hill and taking it to the enemy are usually like captain is usually like where it's at. And there may be a major. If you have a captain and a major that's super tight, they can take over a country. So Ibrahim probably had the support of his senior officer, which is likely a major. You see, because once you pass major, now you are a colonel. You are in a different level now. So major on down, Ibrahim could not have done what he did without the support of a major, a superior officer. That's how they were able to take over the government. But he kept his rank as a captain to show the people that he wasn't doing this for power, because he could have easily promoted himself to General Ibrahim Traore now. But then he would have lost the support of the people. Remember, taking over the government doesn't stop there. You still need the support of the people. So his way of keeping that support was keeping his rank. So he's again. I wish Burkina Faso well. My friend Tony is from there. He lives in LA. I served in the US Army from 1997 to 2004. That is nice. I served from 1998 to 2001. So we were in at the same time. Where are you stationed now? I did my basic in Fort. I did my basic in Fort Benning, Georgia. My AIT in Petersburg, Virginia, and then I got stationed at Fort Irwin, California. I like how Singapore transformed himself. I was enlisted. I left as a specialist E4 63H H8 was my MOS. What is that, like a mechanized infantry? So you and I left at the same rank. Yeah, yes, I left as a specialist as well. I like how Singapore transformed itself. Yes, remember, guys, Singapore is younger than Nigeria. That Singapore should be a case study for Nigeria in terms of how a nation can transform. You see, guys, it's not about the size, it's about the vision. And the benefit of Singapore also is Singapore did not go through all of the coup after coup after coup after coup that Nigeria went through. They had a leader that believed, they went in, they did things the right way. It can be a case study. It's not, because think about it, guys, Nigeria is not that big. Nigeria is the size of Texas and maybe Delaware combined. It's not really that big. So we should not be having all these issues. But we need to, though, these larger states like Niger and Borno, they must be broken down into smaller states, so you can bring the power closer to the people. Otherwise, we're going to keep having problems. And put it this way: if you think that the criminality is going to stop, you are not being real with yourself. The states are too big to control. They are too big to secure. No technology can secure a bush. No technology can secure a forest. It's not every. You see, people think of the US, and even you, CJ, you're in Canada. It's only pockets of Canada that's habitable. The rest is just mountainous areas and forests, right, CJ, if I'm wrong? It's only pockets, little, I think you guys call it provinces, that are actually humanly habitable. Everything else is just, you can't live there. Humans can't survive in those conditions. It's the same in the United States system too. It's not everywhere in the US is habitable. There are just some places that you can't live. And this is where all these guys are hiding. They'll just go, they'll just take somebody up, they will hike them for days. Which technology is good? Even if you can find them through thermal heat rays. Let's say you are flying, you have a drone up there, you can find it. How are you going to access it without dropping paratroopers? You got to drop in paratroopers now. They have to be able to parachute from the planes and be able to go. That's about the only way you can do that. How many paratroopers does Nigeria have? Maybe they have to send in the 82nd Airborne or something. That's why that partnership with the United States comes in handy. But Nigeria still has to take the lead, though, in terms of hostage rescues. Because these guys are hostages. All these people that they are capturing, they're all hostages now. Do we have experience in hostage rescue? Or are we just going to go in and kill everybody and kill the hostages too? Okay. Have you heard of the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman? I have not heard, but I'll definitely look into it. Why have many Nigerians been deported? You see, the number one cause of deportation is if you are not a legal resident. It's not as if ICE just walks into a building and starts wrangling up people. It doesn't work like that. When your legal status is compromised, that is an automatic grounds for removal. Look, Obama deported more people than Trump. Do you guys know? Obama was a master deporter. He deported more people than Donald Trump did in his first term. So when Nigerians, part of what contributes to their deportation is number one, being an illegal resident. Number two, being a legal resident but outstaying their visas. This is very common. They'll give them a 3-month visa, and then Nigeria will stay for 3 years. You see, now you are violating the law of the land. And now I've even heard that they've stopped doing long-term visas. Now it's like, what, short-term visas is what they're giving Nigerians now. Maybe 3 months at the most is what they're giving Nigerians. So you have 3 things that causes it in no particular order, because they are all high. You have outstaying your visa, will get you deported. Coming into the country illegally will get you deported. And also committing felonies. A felony is a serious crime. A felony is not only won't only get you deported. A felony, you will get convicted for sentenced to prison. And then when you have completed your prison term, they will hand you over to immigration. Let's say your end of prison sentence is a week from today. A week before, or maybe even a month before, they've already transferred you to the custody of immigration. So when that date of end of sentence happens, that is when they will fly you from you don't even get to, let's say, oh, let me go to my family. No, you go from jail straight to the airport. And these days, they are even sending people back for committing misdemeanors. Misdemeanors are just like minor crime, petty theft. You don't have to commit felonies anymore to be deported in the US. If they just give them a reason. These days, you sneeze and you are gone. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, and so I did a video yesterday, looked through my archives on how I became a United States citizen. I don't know if you, Healthy Green Lifestyle, did that too. I got my citizenship through the army. I did a video on that yesterday. It would show you how I became a US citizen. But the point is, you want to prioritize your citizenship for those who are in the country legally. If you are in the country illegally, unfortunately, there's nothing about it. You are going to be in the shadows. You see, now it's human trafficking. Anytime someone brings you into the United States illegally without the proper legal work, you are being trafficked. And some people in Nigeria might think any life abroad is better than life in Nigeria. Let me tell you something. Living as an illegal immigrant in the Western world is worse than living in Nigeria. People don't want to believe. You are living under the shadows. You have no protection. You have no benefits. You are being exploited because you are an illegal immigrant. Oh, you can't go home. Which passport are you going to use to go home? Is that the kind of life that you want for yourself? Get your documentation right and then come. It's still possible. I don't know how it is now because I haven't done it in so long. I tried to file for my sister. This was like even pre 9/11. It was a 10-year process. And by the time that my sister got her interview, it was about 12, 15 years. By then, she has gotten married with kids. She just said, oh, I'm not coming to America anymore. Let me just stay home with my family. Yeah. So let's talk about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, guys. I went to Nigeria early this year and I saw the construction of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway from starting on Amadu Bello. So that's where they start. So that project is a $12 billion road construction project that's going to link and create a corridor, a coastal highway between the state of Lagos and the state of Cross River. Okay, so that project has been ongoing now for about a year and a half. It was signed off by President Bola Tinubu and led by High Tech. That's the construction company that is constructing the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. And mind you, Sheyi Tinubu, Tinubu's son, is a board member of the company behind High Tech. So if you are on Amadu Bello Highway, because me, when I'm in Nigeria, I generally stay at what do you call it? The Federal Palace Hotel on Amadu Bello Highway. So you can take an Uber or a Bolt from Amadu Bello. If you want to see what the road construction looks like, and then just tell them to take you there. Like that's what I did. My Bolt driver was the one who took me around as far as I could go to see what they are doing. So I was able to go. I drove up. You're gonna drive past the Eco Atlantic building. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful construction. And then I went into the community. I got out. I hired that boat driver for the day. I just said, you know what, it doesn't matter. When I'm done with you, I'll let you go. So I spent about 4 hours with him. It took me around as far as I could go. I went into the community and I spoke to the people that were affected by the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Some people thought that the rug was being swept from under them. And then others thought it was a good thing. But personally, yes, I did. I walked, I shot a video about my trip. So go ahead and look through my archives and just search construction of Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway Riches Journey or something. You'll see me in a yellow shirt. Watch that video of me. Hey, Jeanette, I'm almost done. Nelly's not here. Your sister is not here.
This is more than 10 minutes.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. Nelly, what are you doing? You guys are interrupting my show. Yes. This is Nelly.
Hi.
Yes.
How come I can't see Nelly?
Well, because it's delayed. There she is. That's her head right there. So I have a 50-inch screen TV here. That's the girl. So like, wifey is here too. No, I got my coffee. So yes, guys, hang on. I'm still going to talk about the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Just the girls came to say hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's great.
Hello to everyone. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Can I finish?
Come on, girlies. Let Daddy finish.
Let Daddy finish. So the Lagos.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Go ahead.
Bye, everybody. I will miss you. Bye.
You keep giving people kisses. Yes. All right. Love you guys. Another 10 minutes and I'll be done. Okay, so the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, again, $12 billion project. Some people think that Nigeria could have used the money for something else. They didn't really see the priority of building a massive project like this, $12 billion. Remember, that is just construction. Management is not included in that. The initial video that I did on the matter got about 2,000 views, and so some people it was a little bit of a conflict though. Some people kind of agreed with my analysis of it and others didn't. I think very early on they were trying to compare it to the California Pacific Coast Highway in California. That was what they were trying to model the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway after, but then it has since changed. Initially, it was like an 8-lane project where you have 4 lanes on the left, 4 lanes on the right. And then they reduced it to a 4-lane project. And in other cases, depending on where they are, the terrain, it could drop to maybe a lane or 2 lanes. So right now, it's been ongoing for about a year and a half. My analysis, I think it's great. Now, whether it's going to improve road travel is to be determined, though. I think part of the reason why this current administration is really prioritizing it is to help alleviate some of the pressures as far as like airline travel goes, because a lot of Nigerians right now are afraid to travel on the road. Not only are they afraid to travel on the road, they also have to deal with the bad roads that's currently going on. That is what the Tinubu hopes to solve with this Lagos, with this highway. I spoke to people in Akwa Ibom though when I went. Majority of the people in Akwa Ibom don't even know what's going on. When I brought up the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway to people in Akwa Ibom, thinking, oh, they will be excited. Let me tell you guys, the excitement is only on social media. Most of the populace, the local populace, don't even know that the construction is happening. And if they do, based on my findings on the ground, there really isn't any updates on the matter. And my uncle, who's in the oil and gas industry, he's like an Akwa Ibomite through and through. Anytime that I need information in Akwa Ibom, he's the one that I go to. And if he doesn't even know, then there's a problem. He's aware, he hears rumors and stories here and there, but no one has really been able to share where the project is in terms of cost associated to the project, how far they've gone, also the timeline. Guys, 8 years is not enough to build a 750 something square kilometer road. If people think that Tinubu can do it in his term, they are wrong. They are just not being honest. It's a massive project. It's going to go through multiple contractors. Do you think that high tech alone can construct a road of this magnitude? The answer is no. The Pacific Coast Highway in the US that they are trying to model after started in the 60s. We are in 2025. They are still building, they are still maintaining. It's gone through numerous governors, it's gone through numerous private, and also it's a private sector project. Obviously, it's led and financed by the Nigerian government, but it's still built. It's been built and managed by the private sector. It's not going to be a project that will be completed in Tinubu's term. Now, what is the next president going to do? Would they support Tinubu's? You see, part of the issue we have in Nigeria is the issue of continuity. Continuity. We got to get better at continuity. The baton, this one hands off to this one continues. Already, those that are running against Tinubu, Peter Obi, Atiku, are saying that the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway project should not have happened in the first place. What do you think is going to happen if they were to defeat Tinubu in this upcoming election? They're going to kill that project. And that project is also going to be part of another one that we can add on our list of abandoned projects. I know that there are real estate firms out now in Nigeria that are selling lands, trying to convince investors to come and build near the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Should you do that? If you were to ask me, I'm probably going to tell you no, because that's also like an SO project. Do you guys know what an SO project is? It's a shiny opportunity project. That is what that Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. I'm talking about like ancillary investments. Those who want to build an estate along the road. How many estates? You see, guys, my audience, you guys are intelligent now. You are based abroad. How many so-called estates do you see along the freeways? There are some, But you're looking at like the 215 freeway. If I were to drive on either side, you see buildings. That is what Nigeria is trying to do, to build homes along. And you have these real estate gurus selling land and selling opportunities. These SO opportunities, shiny opportunities or shiny object projects. But no one has been able to really come on the record and really articulate where we are right now. But remember, guys, this is not tax dollars. This isn't funded. I said tax dollars. This project is not funded by Nigerian taxes. Remember, the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, the money was borrowed. So it's not as if the Nigerian people, taxpayers, are the ones funding it. No. The funds to build it. Can Nigerians pay $12 billion worth of taxes? The funds to build the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is borrowed from countries like China and the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. That's where the money is coming from. So for those who are out there looking for a timeline and a step-by-step itemized budgets, you are wasting your time. The government is not going to give you that. Some media personnel or media operators, you see them, they are always on the Umar here. I think that's the Minister of Works. They are always down his throat. Give us how much it costs to build. Why are you asking how much it costs to build? Is your money there? Is your money? Did you invest? So you don't have a right to sit there in your studio and be pressuring the Minister of Works to tell you how much he has spent so far in building the road. That is not funded by tax, but it was funded by tax naira. I'm sorry, I keep saying tax dollars. I'm in the US. I'm based in the US. He doesn't have to. Minister Umahi doesn't. All Minister Umahi has to just tell you is we've built this, we have this to go. He doesn't have to tell you how much he has spent. But me, I'm telling you that $12 billion is not going to be enough to complete this project. And also, what is the rush? Why are we rushing? It's like they started today, they started demolition. What was the planning that really went behind it? I didn't see. It's like Nigeria would just say, okay, we are doing this, boom, let's start tomorrow. Let's start bringing cranes and workers. Have they factored in drainage? Where are we? How far along are we? Because this thing is a project that connects at least 6 states. Lagos, Ogun is going to cut through Abia, cut through Delta, cut through Akwa Ibom. Small portion of Akwa Ibom state, though. It's not a lot. And then it's going to end in Calabar, which, by the way, we need. If nothing else, let's fix the Calabar road. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of economy, do you think that the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is going to contribute? Or is it going to be another Niger state where we have a big road that we cannot police and secure? Is the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway going to become like another Niger-born? No. Another highway for the crime sector to thrive? You see, they said that they are going to put checkpoints. Because somebody asked them. You see, this is the kind of question you should be asking Minister Umahi. If I didn't get his name right, I'm sorry. Minister Umahi, the Minister of Works. You see, when you ask him about security of motorists and security of travelers, I'm excited about that. But when you start saying, tell us how much you spent per kilometer, that is stupid. He doesn't owe you that. What he owes the Nigerian people is a safe freeway for them to commute. A checkpoint every other mile is not the solution. Let me tell you something. I drive just as much as I fly in the US. A road trip from Las Vegas to Los Angeles is about 4 hours. 4.5 hours. If you go to San Diego, it's about 5.5, 6-hour drive. You are not going to see one checkpoint, one police checkpoint. They don't exist. You may have a toll, even that they're even waiving it. Like I worked in Colorado for 18 months in Colorado and Utah. They have a lot of tolls there where you pay certain amounts per month to be able to go faster than others. Nigeria is talking about putting up checkpoints. So somebody can drive, and then slow down. Nigeria without go slow now. So then the police people can sit there and collect money from motorists. You see, that is what they are trying to do. When you look at highway construction, I don't have expertise in highway construction, but I can probably guarantee you, for those abroad, CJ, you can probably relate to this. At every light, stop lights, there's a camera, right? Pointing in all directions. The cameras are also strategically placed at certain, I'm talking about CCTV. You guys call CCTV here. We call it, I don't know what kind of camera they call it, closed circuit here too. I don't know. But they are strategically placed at different strategic points along the freeways. And also remember too, we also have highway patrol in the US. Are we making provisions for something like that for the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, where you have highway patrols, where you have the Lagos Highway Patrol? Do we even have such a thing in Nigeria, guys? Do you guys know? Do we have highway patrol in Nigeria? Do we? Because we need it if we don't. For this Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway to work, we are going to need such a thing. Because when you reach the border of Ogun State, the jurisdiction for Lagos Highway Patrol stops, and then the Ogun State Highway Patrol picks up. And then the man, you see, here in America, the sheriffs are always up and down. There's no time that I've driven an American public road that I don't see law enforcement presence. You either see the sheriff, you see the Metro PD, that's the Metro Police Department, or you see the California or the Nevada Highway Patrol. Every state has a highway patrol. California Highway Patrol, Nevada Highway Patrol. Delaware Highway Patrol. Do we have that? You see, this is what we need. You can't just say you are building a freeway. People need to feel safe. The roads also have to be maintained at all times. In a country where we have a maintenance culture, there also has to be a buy-in. Already, aspiring presidential candidates for 2028 are already saying that they don't support that project. Atiku said it, Obi said it. Sorry, when is Nigeria's next election? Is it 2028 or 2027? There really isn't a website where people who care. Because I'm telling you, most Nigerians don't give a shit about these highways. People like me, people abroad that are really into it. Because most Nigerians don't really even know what this highway is all about. All they know is that they don't even know how much has been earmarked for it. All they know is that it's ongoing. So let's talk safety, road safety. Oh my God, don't even get me started with Nigerian road safety. Oh. They will stop you. They will tell you to open your boots so they can see if you have a fire extinguisher inside your boot. That's Nigerian road safety for you. Are we planning on putting that on a federal highway like the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway? What other? Let's talk emergencies. With roads, there'll be accidents. Do we have hospitals strategically positioned in strategic parts to be able to take care and respond to this? Or is the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway going to be what the current one is? Where Benin, you go to Benin, there's that roundabout in Benin where that's where the armed robbers that's where they go and nab people. Is the same thing going to become of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway? What are we doing? It's not just about building, it's about securing, maintaining, and innovating. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun, guys. CJ, healthy green lifestyle as always. What do you guys think of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway? Post in the chat box. I know a lot of you are going to watch this playback. 2 hours, 25 minutes of live content. Man, I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this. Can't wait to bring you more. I did my basic in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was stationed in Fort Gordon, Georgia. I was stationed in South Korea. Ah, you went to South Korea. My boss, my sergeant, went to South Korea. Did some time there in South Korea. I did desert training in Fort Irwin, California before going. Ah, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, we trained a lot. Actually, when I was there, I served during peacetime. So we trained a lot there for like desert warfare, like Iraq. Remember, this was before the war in Iraq. So we trained extensively for Saddam Hussein at the Fort Irwin Training Center. Yes, Iraq looking for Sudan. Iraq looking for Sudan. Saddam Hussein. Oh, so you deployed, you served. You served during the war? Probable currency revaluation. What is this probable currency revaluation? I haven't heard about that. What is that about? I don't know what that's about. Hey, thanks for your service, brother. Thanks for your service. Yeah, so Fort Irwin, we trained for Saddam Hussein. A lot of people, a lot of world soldiers came to Fort Irwin because it's a national training center, the NTC. That's where you train because we had the landscape that can mimic and mirror places like Iraq. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. We're gonna chat again another time. If you like this session, thank you for following along with me. If this resonates with you guys, you want more information on investing, doing business in Nigeria from a diaspora perspective, this channel is for you. Be sure to check out my archives. I talk about a lot of issues in Nigeria, but I always tie them to investments. I find a way to tie them to investments, just like how this whole matter with Niger is tied to investments for those who are interested in the Nigerian markets. Someone's going to be positive, someone's going to be sensitive, but ultimately the goal here is to educate those abroad, the diasporas who are interested in investing in Nigeria, and also to educate travelers too, tourists, expats. Like if you have any interest in Nigeria whatsoever, the America channel is where you want to be. So be sure to like, share, and comment, and tune in for the next one. I'm going to schedule another one tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to talk about though. I usually just kind of wake up and decide, I'm going to talk about this today. It's what's on my mind. And I just share my own analytical perspective. And then if you find this informative and it resonates with you, kindly like, share, comment, and please, before we go, subscribe to the channel. All the best, guys. Healthy green lifestyle. CJ, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you. Healthy green lifestyle. You're based in the US. And CJ, have a great day. We will talk soon. All the best, guys.